Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frank Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices and we've allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something you can see yourself supporting, well, we ask that you join the cause. Make sure that you like and follow all of our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this live program is being streamed on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. We could also be found under Frankie Olivo. Make sure to follow our personal page on Facebook. We could be found under Olivo Frankie. But more importantly, if you haven't already, make sure you create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. Currently, right now, we sit at 937 subscribers. Our goal is to get to 1,000. Remember, I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for food. All I ask of my community is something very simple. Make sure that you're down for the cause. Many people have always questioned and said, what do you need? Do you need money? What's your cash app? What's your, let me know. And I say, I'm very thankful and appreciative of you. But make sure that you just follow our social media platforms. By doing that, by liking, commenting, by sharing this live feed, it will help me tremendously. We are at a point where there is a possibility that our Facebook page may be taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. So please make sure to follow our social media platforms. And I thank you so much for that. Here at Good Morning Brownsville, we come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., sometimes a little bit after, religiously. So thank you so much for all the support that each and every one of you gives us. We are very, very thankful for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Monday. It's the middle of the month. For many, it is the last week before the Christmas vacation kicks in, a time where maybe this year the presents might be a little less. Life's expensive. We're not able to splurge on luxury anymore. I have great fond memories of Christmas growing up, that any latest gadget, always dressed to a T. Christmas symbolizes for many joy and being able to give those that you love something. You know, it could be a small token of their appreciation, just to let you know that, hey, you know, I love you. I'm very well aware that right now is a time where maybe you don't want me to talk about politics, or maybe you won't be as receptive to whatever subject matter we're talking about, because at the end of the day, during this time, all we want to do is drink some coffee, enjoy the beautiful 55-degree weather that we have had, and we hope that Christmas one day soon will snow again. Right now is a time where we don't want to talk about politics. Maybe you give me an opportunity and listen to what we have to say because you're being nice, you're being generous. It's always us nerds that we live, sleep, and breathe politics, everything that happens in South Texas, where we try to keep up to date. We try to be informed on the important issues, right? But I realize you may cut me off. You may tune me out if you haven't already. You may tune me out maybe Wednesday or Thursday. After Friday, I lose you until January. Maybe after Los Reyes Magos, maybe that's when you'll start tuning in again. But for the most part, us people, us nerds, how I like to call us nerds that follow politics religiously, there comes a point where we block off mentally. We block off at least a week and a half, possibly two, to focus on what's most important in life, our family, our many blessings, being able to travel and spend the holidays with others. We like to sit around the TV and enjoy the Grinch, the Ralphie, the Christmas Carol movies, the Elf, Die Hard, even though that's a debate, right? Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? It was a Christmas party. It was during Christmas, but is it really a Christmas movie? Die Hard. Um, so I'm gonna try my best from here till Friday. Give it to you. Just throw everything out there. But most importantly, we have the primary elections coming, and they're creeping up on us. February 17th is the first day to vote for early voting, with election day March the 3rd, Tuesday. What many people say is that in these type of elections, nobody's campaigning right now. And if you are, you're wasting money, you're wasting energy. Why? Because people don't want to talk about politics. We want to know if Santa's going to be good to us this year. We need to make sure that we're not on the naughty list. Hopefully we get something. I always get socks and underwear. That's why I'm very appreciative. Everywhere I go, I always go with the clean socks and clean underwear. That will never fail me. But nonetheless, I understand my responsibility, and I understand you as a viewer, as a constituent. This is the last week that I have until you're receptive to me, until you listen, until you give me an opportunity to come into your homes, to come into your on the way to work, dropping off the kids. So that is what we're going to do from here till Friday. We're going to give it to you hard because we anticipate, with next week being the holidays and then New Year's, nobody's really focusing on politics. We're focusing on getting the huercos their gifts, making sure that we are welcoming family from out of town. For New Year's, we're focusing on our 2026 goals. We're going to lose weight. We're going to make so much money. Our mind is on other places, and I realize that, and I anticipate that. So from here till Friday, we're going to give it to you hard, because we will be talking about politics shortly thereafter when we come back from like Los Reyes Magos, more or less, which is, the 6th of January, around those days. So I am very conscientious of that. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk a little bit more about the primaries that are coming up in February. February 17th, once again, will be the first day in which you will be able to cast your ballot either for the Democrat Party or the Republicans. December the 8th, just last week, we finally got word, or we finally are seeing firsthand of the different races. And as you know, once people signed up for certain races, people started already giving their opinions. People have been calling us and asking us, hey, what do you feel about certain candidate, about certain races? And every race is different. Every candidate brings its own unique attributes that they try to make their appeal to their constituents. No election is the same. Every election is different, and everybody is curious to know about what's the word out there. What's the word, right? Because once we know who is going to be friend or foe, we start measuring them to a certain extent and say, well, who's going to be competitive? Who's going to spend more money? Those are the topics that everybody talks about. Who has money? Who's going to spend money? There's talks that someone such as Mauro Garza on the Republican side for Cameron County judge has $1 million to spend. So from here till November, Mauro, to October, from here to October, Mauro Garza has 10 months to hit Cameron County hard. While he may not focus all of his energy on the primary, because all the attention is obviously going to be on the Democrats that we're going to talk about today, it would be wise for Mauro Garza to lay the groundwork now. Go to every event possible. Try and be seen by the community. We did see how Cameron County did turn red. President Trump, this last November 24, did win Cameron County 52-48, which was, a big deal, especially here in the Rio Grande. But as we've been hearing and as people talk about, the midterm elections, they're different. People are saying the Democrats are banking, hey, President Trump, he's not on the ballot. That's a big for us because we understand that people were against President Biden's open borders. A big question was affordability of life in general. So it was easy. It was easy for people to come out and vote for President Trump. Now that President Trump is not on the ballot, Democrats anticipate of having their very own blue wave. No, not the car wash place, but they anticipate of coming in strong. And usually, if we follow history and data, that's the way it works. Usually, people, parties, whenever they win the White House, they always have a dip in the midterms because the other party's already targeting that other party. But it's going to be interesting. Is Mauro Garza going to be able to be out in the community from here to October, the first days of early voting of 26, to get name recognition, to get his name out there? Now he has ran for Congress in this area, but whenever you talk to people, and that's why I wanted to talk about this today because it's very important. Whenever you talk to people, Eddie Trevino, he's won three county races. Eddie Garza won 3 county races. Steve Guerra, a politico, has won the Brownsville Navigation District, and we'll get down and break down the numbers throughout the course of this program. But Mauro Garza, he hasn't won an election. Is name recognition going to be something big for Mauro Garza to overcome? Many anticipate that. But there is time. There is opportunity for him to close ground and be very competitive, because what the talk is that whoever comes out of the Democratic primary is going to win in November, that there is no question that the tough race is going to be here in March. How much are these people going to spend? Are they going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars? One would anticipate in this type of race, you have to spend what, $50,000 easy in these 3 months, $100,000 if you want to be extra competitive and feel safe. So it's going to be interesting these next few months, and we're going to talk about this race in particular, the Democratic primary, a little bit more, and we're going to continue from here till March the 3rd to talk about what's important to each and every one of us. So thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Today's program will be a doozy. I hope you enjoy it as much as I will.
Port of Brownsville is leading the way for economic progress and stability in the Rio Grande Valley. As chairman of the Brownsville Navigation District, I'm proud to share the tremendous impact our port continues to deliver, not just for our region, but for the entire state of Texas. Since 1936, change at the Port of Brownsville has been constant. However, a few things remain the same. Our dedication to our stakeholders and communities, and creating opportunities. According to our latest economic impact study in 2023, the Port of Brownsville contributed more than $12 billion to the Texas economy, a 400% increase from 2019. This impressive growth reflects our growing capacity and our commitment to sustainable success for generations to come. The Port of Brownsville supports more than 10,000 jobs locally, generating $1.1 billion for our local economy. And these aren't just jobs. These are livelihoods supporting families, building communities, and fueling opportunities. The benefits ripple beyond our region, providing more than 66,000 jobs and $3.8 billion in total personal income across the state. And we're proud that our successes at the Port of Brownsville mean success for Texans, connecting industries and innovation from our backyard to markets across the world. The numbers confirm what we already knew. The Port of Brownsville is a powerful economic engine. And this is more than just a port. This is power in motion. And we're just getting started.
Absolutely, Chris, you are correct. This is the most anticipated race. And just because we are at a watch party tonight does not mean there is not excitement. We are in an exclusive live interview with the new sheriff-elect, Eric Garza. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
There's a lot going through your head, I can imagine. Tell me what's going on.
First of all, we're excited. We're happy. We want to thank the voters and our supporters for going out and voting. We know we live in difficult times. We're concerned about the safety and health of our voters, but they came out and they want change. I also want to thank Sheriff Lucio for his service to Cameron County. We wish him the best in his future endeavors.
What's the biggest plan once you take office when you go to the November primary?
Well, we still have a November election, but the biggest issue is, of course, the budget. We want to make sure we don't waste the money. We use it wisely. First and foremost, training for our employees, for the deputies, for the jailers, for the administration. We want to make sure we have sustainable salaries so that we don't lose them to other agencies. They're the foundation of the sheriff's office. We want to make sure we take care of that. Second is, of course, the jail. We want to make sure it's in compliance so that we don't have any issues with any future lawsuits. And lastly, equipment to make sure that our officers are safe when they're out there patrolling.
I know that when we spoke earlier, you said you have your Texas Peace Officer license, but you haven't worked at a specific agency. Do you think that's going to affect you being taking office?
I was a former Reserve Deputy Constable of Precinct 1. Right now, I'm a Reserve Deputy Constable of Precinct 4. But it's more about administration. The sheriff isn't out there arresting individuals or serving search warrants. He's the head administrator of an office that handles $31 million of the county's budget. $30 million. That's your money. That's the voters' money. If it's not administered right, then of course there's waste. And when there's waste, you can't provide the safety and the security for the deputies or for the community. So that's the main concern.
Congratulations once again. You did catch up to current.
Do solemnly swear or affirm County Judge
of Cameron County, every word. I don't want to offend anybody. If you don't like foul language, cover your ears. Compromise is not a dirty word. Compromise is not a dirty word. The ability to listen to other people's points of view, opinions, their desires, their needs, compare them with our own, and working out solutions for the betterment of everyone involved. That's compromise. Now, I'm going to tell you here now, I will compromise to do what's necessary to move forward Cameron County.
Whenever we talk about the Cameron County judge position in our area, well, it serves as a role that the county's CEO and presiding officer of Commissioners Court. Now, despite the title, this role, this position is mainly an administrative role, and it is not full-time judicial judge like we have in misdemeanor and felony court. Now, the key functions of a judge, there is executive and administrative. They see the day-to-day operations of county government. It represents the different relationships and is in charge of creating these connections with the state, federal, and other local government entities. The county judge signs contracts. They come into agreement and they deal with official documents. They play a leadership role in economic development and county initiatives. When we talk about Commissioners Court, the county judge position, it presides over a court with other commissioners. It sets agendas and guides policy during discussions. They vote on county matters. They're able to cast a tie or vote for initiatives that they believe will be best for the county as a whole. They work with other commissioners on the budgets and county taxes. Their focus is on infrastructure, public services, county policies, and ordinance as well. We have here somebody talking about the mask. Why was Eddie Garza wearing the mask? Well, who can forget? 4 or 5 years ago, the world was at a standstill. This thing that we learned called COVID really shaped the dynamics of our local area. Emergency management. The county judge serves as a director for emergency management, and he has the authority to declare local disasters. Here, we've seen how the judge has closed the beaches, either because of weather or because of SpaceX. In regards to coordinating emergency responses for hurricanes, floods, and other crises, the county judge works with state and federal agencies to make sure that our safety is paramount, is at the forefront. It's also, the county judge also serves as a community and ceremonial role because it serves as the public representative and spokesperson for the county. They attend community events and perform ceremonial duties. Now, whenever they good morning, Bubba, how's it going? How is Colorado? Yes, we're just focusing, Bubba, on the Democratic primary. No one chose to run against Mauro Garza for county judge for the Republican Party. So Mauro Garza will be facing either Trevino, Garza, or Guerra in November of 26. So yes, there is someone that did sign up to run against these Democratic candidates, but since he is running unopposed, he will face whoever comes out of this primary in November of 2026. Now, what we will talk about today will be something very interesting because we're going to break down a little bit the county judge race, and it's important. And it's important for us to recognize and talk about, hey, what's important to us. There are very important issues that could be polarizing. Whenever we talk about, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we talk about the hot topic, SpaceX, many people were up in arms whenever we learned that Starbase was going to be its own government entity. They are now officially its very own little city. What we have seen from SpaceX has been that since the MOU was signed with SpaceX and Cameron County, SpaceX has been criticized for not paying taxes, for being the root cause of gentrification. And here locally, we're always, I hate to say this word. Colorado was amazing. Just need way more time to adjust to elevation. Yeah, whenever I was over there, it was fun. But yeah, I would breathe a little bit heavier. Like, oh God. They say that's the way the F is as well, Mexico City. But hope you have a safe trip back to wherever you're going, and obviously back home, Bubba. SpaceX gets criticized for gentrification. Have you seen your taxes lately? They've gone skyrocket. Many people who lived on a fixed income, especially here locally, haven't been able to pay their tax bill. We have seen the large investment that SpaceX has made in recent times in the multi-billion dollars. If you haven't noticed already, ladies and gentlemen, everything is growing that way. Heck, they're going to get their very own McDonald's. Well, not their very own, but it's over there. That world, which was Boca Chica going all the way to Boca Chica Beach, it's totally transforming. And by the time we realize it, it's going to be something that is going to change the way that area is. What I've noticed, ladies and gentlemen, what I've noticed is that Brownsville is not what we think it is anymore. Brownsville is something that is slowly transforming people. People on the way, people from all over the world now have a better idea of where Brownsville is, where South Padre is. Well, they knew about where it was because of South Padre, right? Because of spring break. But now, the roles have changed. Now the focal point for the island isn't so much spring break. Now it really is for SpaceX. That's the big deal, right? When we talk about the important issues, you and I could be on the opposite sides of this very important issue. How do you feel about SpaceX? Environmentalists have been up in arms. They filed lawsuits. Hey, this rich man, how can our county give away our most prized possession, which is our beaches, to the world's richest man? We're giving it away for peanuts. What do you mean that they created their own city? Why? Elon Musk has donated millions of dollars to the Rio Grande. We have been very critical of his donation of $10 million for the city of Brownsville because we saw how the politicos, their own friends, they were the ones that were in large part the first ones in line to receiving these funds. They made it in a way to where it was designed only for certain people to get these funds. Maybe that turned off Elon Musk and was like, you know what? I want to create my own city. I want to deal with my own commissioners. I don't want to deal with these people. Possibly. What we have seen from the pages of these three candidates in regards to SpaceX is how they're so different in regards to policy. When we talk about Judge Trevino and Chairman Guerra, well, based on their profile, their pages, they are supportive of SpaceX. Eddie Garza, either he hasn't posed anything for or against. Maybe he's smart about it. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to stir the pot. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to do anything to piss people off. What about LNG? LNG is another interesting topic, right? Have you seen, one that drives to on Highway 48 on a very frequent basis? It's totally different now. It's really transformed. Traffic is backed up. If you're coming from PI, Laguna, the island to Brownsville at 5:30, good luck. The two ways on each side is now one lane. There have been horrific accidents that we have seen, but in the end, what we have noticed is that the people, there's a lot of jobs, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of people are again for and against it. How can we have this LNG plant so close to the local habitat? We're going to affect the species, the wildlife. We don't see them anymore. One time when I was coming from the island in the morning, there was this Neo guy, and they're huge suckers. They're like poof. And I was in an SUV at that time, and it hovered over the SUV, and I was like, damn. If it hasn't stopped already, the migration of these animals and of different species, the ocelots, the bobcats, they're slowly going away. One thing that we can state is that this area has been booming, and we understand, and it's difficult for people to accept. Look, it's hard. Change is hard. We possibly for many years have been stagnant, unfortunately. Our area is poor. We live in poverty. We are one of the least educated and one of the poorest regions in all of the United States. when we played the video, when we started today's program, we ended off with Judge Trevino's swearing in. We did that for a reason, because something that he said caught my attention. He said compromise, compromise. And look, from the very beginning, he said, hey, if you don't like bad words, cover your ears because you're going to get everything of me. Judge Eddie Trevino has been criticized heavily. There are many things that we can talk about, but one thing that his team, that his campaign, that his platform is banking on is these numbers. Investment, investment, investment. Big, big, big. During my time, $25 billion plus has been invested here in Cameron County. Now, again, I understand it's a give and take, right? We can't have it all. The role. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, you're buttering up, or oh, mamalo. Being a politician is difficult. I don't want to make it seem that as if we criticize just to criticize. We hope that each and every leader is held to a higher standard, and everything that they do is done to benefit us as a community, right? That's our goal. That's our expectation. Whenever we talk about the area as of late, what can we say? What can we bank? What can we hang our hat on and say, look at this, look what we've done these last 20 years? The only thing that comes to mind is SpaceX. That's the only thing that comes to mind. LNG as of late. What else? So while we might not like the idea that Brownsville is changing and that we have been affected by gentrification. And look, we all know and we feel it. You know, my clients, my family, us individually, we have felt gentrification. We have seen how the poor, those of us living paycheck to paycheck, we're feeling the brunt of it. We can talk about inflation. We can talk about cost. We can talk about life just being expensive in general. But in large part, if it wasn't for SpaceX, we wouldn't have this high cost. Our property values have gone up. But it's a give and take, right? A politician, we give them our vote and we say, do what's best for us. Here are the keys. Go hit a home run. Go bring us, here's $100. Go give us $1 million. Maybe that's the idea. And look, Commissioner's Court we were very critical of the arena, right? The voters came out 3 times and overwhelmingly rejected the county's proposal to build an arena in North Brownsville. We interviewed a candidate for District 4 for the Brownsville municipal races, Michael Rodriguez, and he brought data and he brought information, and he said, me running for District 4 for the city of Brownsville, knowing that the arena is going to be in my district, who's set to benefit from it? The District 4 commissioner. So he went on the record and he stated, hey, yes, I want this arena to pass because my district, my constituents will see growth in this area. When you talk to any developer, any judge, any politician, that's what you want. You want to attract businesses, right? You want to say, hey, we're open up for, businesses booming. Come hang out with us. Come invest, right? That is what I think everybody wants. So while we were very critical of the arena passing because we just don't trust them. That was a large sentiment that many people said. I don't trust these people with an arena that's going to cost $300, $400, $500 million. They're going to reap the benefits of it. But when we actually studied and looked at this proposal, and look, there were many reasons why not to. And there's a fine balance, right, of giving you the pros and the cons. That's what we try to do here, our program. We try to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. We were critical of this arena. But if this arena hypothetically would have been built, District 4, Northern Brownsville, going into Olmito, would have been booming, would have been the new hub where people in 10, 20 years, Brownsville's going to grow. It's already growing northwards, right? Wouldn't it benefit the District 4, obviously, and Brownsville as a whole for that arena to have been built? Imagine the people that would have come. Now, would we been able to have signed those stars because of contractual agreements that they had, XYZ? I know. I was the number one in line that was critical of this arena. And maybe that is something that people are going to hold against Judge Trevino for it. But people want to grow, right? Hey, the city of Brownsville, the Cameron County voters, you gave me something. You said, here are the keys to the kingdom. Go hit it out of the park. Go bring back prosperity. That's what the Commissioners Court are doing with SpaceX, with LNG. I know you don't like it. I know. Why? Because we're environmentalists. We hate that the government is closing our beaches. We hate that the world's richest man is now in control of his own little area. I know. I get it. But it's either that or nothing. And I'll even say it. I'll even admit it. Pues mejor nada. It's my way or the highway. No. See. If I don't benefit from it, nobody benefits from it. Yes, you quedó. Give me my ball. I'm gonna take my ball and I'm gonna go home. Remember those people that would do it? Hey, bro, we can't play. No, pues ni modo, se fregaron. The arena was an issue, and it's gonna come up. The arena was an issue that people criticize the Commissioners Court, in large part, Judge Eddie Trevino. Hey, you asked me to make it big, right? You asked me to make it grow. Look what we've done during my time in office. $25 billion. Isn't that big? Steve Guerra, the port chairman, he says, guys, we have 66,000, we have thousands of jobs. Look at the revenue that the port is bringing. Close to $4 billion. It's one of the top ports in the state of Texas, if not throughout the world. And Chairman Guerra is focusing on that. Look at the growth. Look at the growth. Look at the growth. That's what we want. Jose Angel Ramirez says, if it doesn't happen, but wait till LNG, so the county. No, there's another one. All those numbers that are being presented as to how much the port generates are good, but it's not reflective in our county. The poverty level is still high. That's a good point. Many people have criticized the port because they're saying, look, the port makes $3.8 billion in revenue. Why are they still taxing us? Aren't we poor? Should we keep on paying taxes to another entity? Should we? Now, Sheriff Eddie Garza, what he said in his speech on the video that we played was that he was going to better administer the fund balance for the county. He stated that the annual budget for the sheriff's department is $30 million. And he was going to focus on administering. Many people were saying, oh, well, you don't have a peace officer license. Have you even arrested somebody? Or, is this something, did you bite more than you can chew? But he said, hey, I'm going to administer this thing. That's what I'm going to do. That's going to be my focal point. But let's take a look at the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. 2 out of the 3 candidates have won county-wide races. When we talk about Eddie Garza has shown that he has won 3 races. 2 of those races were for Cameron County Judge, Cameron County District Clerk. I apologize. He's running for county judge. He's run 2 countywide races for the district clerk's office. Now, one thing that we've spoken about was that Eddie Garza, he's a campaigner. There was not one event that his office wasn't present throughout all the county. You're talking about Brownsville, San Benito, Los Fresnos, La Feria, Santa Maria, Santa Rosa. He was everywhere. His name, he always made sure that in whatever city had something going, his office was there to either offer their services, remind the people of, of what he does, and ultimately he was throwing the name, Eddie Garza out there. Eddie Garza has won 3 races at the county level. He was criticized for going up against Omar Lucio. He ended up winning a runoff election for the Democratic primary against Omar Lucio. He did end up beating Chambers in that race. When we talk about Judge Eddie Trevino, by the numbers, in the 2016 Democratic primary elections, when Judge Cascos, if I'm not mistaken, accepted the position for Secretary of State from Governor Abbott, it opened up the position. Pete Sepulveda was the interim, was appointed to be the county judge at that time. And we're going to focus just on the primary. For the 2016 Democratic primary, we saw how Eddie Trevino brought in 13,000 votes, 43.9% of the vote. Elizabeth Garza came in third with 5,800 votes. She ended up forcing a runoff between Dan Sanchez and Eddie Trevino. Dan Sanchez came in with 10,700 votes, 36.4% of the vote. What did we see? Judge Trevino in 2016 brought in 13,000 votes. Again, every vote, every race is different, right? What happened 10 years ago isn't going to happen, in the February-March primary, right? But this is Eddie Trevino's track record. Numbers, men lie, women lie. Numbers don't. Eddie Trevino, in the primary, he has brought in 13,000 votes, which is strong. Strong. He beat Dan Sanchez by 1,000 votes, give or take, in the runoff election in 2016. In 2018, because it was a 2-year term. In 2018, Eddie Trevino received 11,300 votes. Again, strong. From going from 13,000 votes in 2 years later, 11,000 votes in the primary. Strong. Eddie Garza, how many votes did he muster in the recent race that he ran? He brought 6,700 votes. He went into a runoff. And the thing that's interesting, ladies and gentlemen, is Eddie Garza was leading the race. The way for a candidate to win a race without a runoff is you have to get 50% plus 1 vote in your race to avoid a runoff. Eddie Garza, while he got the large majority of the vote in the primary, what we ended up seeing from this was that Manny Trevino ended up winning in a runoff. And there are many reasons for it, right? Many people have criticized Eddie Garza for possibly biting more than what he could chew. He overplayed his hand. We did see, in all fairness to Eddie Garza, we did see how the Commissioner's Court for Cameron County, they did go hard against them. They filed a lawsuit in regards to the security for the judges and the courthouse. They tried to wrestle that away from him. They didn't provide his staff that he requested a pay increase. It was a dismal raise. So when we talk about it, another interesting race that we have seen, ladies and gentlemen, is the tax assessor collector race. Look, Tony Zaguirre, he beat Eddie Garcia by close to 2,000 votes. What did we see in the runoff? We saw how someone such as Eddie Garcia was able to bring in more votes and he won in a runoff. It happened with Omar Lucio and Eddie Garza. It happened with Manny Trevino and Eddie Garza. Eddie Garza had more votes than Manny Trevino. Manny Trevino ended up winning in a runoff. Tony Aguirre, Eddie Garcia. Tony Aguirre had more votes in the primary. Eddie Garcia took it in the runoff. Now, what is interesting to learn is that whenever people run, you always try to garner, you always try to gauge, right? You always try and see where you're strong at. You want to see, where you're at, essentially. And we can talk about many factors as to why people run for public office. And again, people run for public office for many reasons, right? They run because they they think that they could provide a better opportunities for their area. They want to be known as that person that changed the dynamics of our local area, right? And when they do so, ladies and gentlemen, these people, they're always like chess moves. They always try to do things, they always try to think a few steps ahead, right? They don't just run for public office just because, right? We hope that they don't. While we showed you how Eddie Garza and Judge Trevino have won countywide races, Steve Guerra is on the outside looking in. And I say that because he has won a Port of Brownsville race. And those races, they're a little bit different than others. When we talk about the port, well, people allude to the fact that it's controlled. I feel like as if it's like the like if it's the South Texas College. Because the South Texas College, they're always 6 years. It's a 6-year term. And they're always like in May. They're always like in weird, well, now I guess they were on the presidential. But the Port of Brownsville races, they're a little bit weird. They're always in May. Steve Guerra, when he ran, he received 2,700 votes. And this was a three-way race against Javier Vera and Patrick Anderson for Commissioner Place 4 for the Navigational District. What we have seen from Steve Guerra is that he ran unopposed in 22. He didn't have an election. Nobody signed up to run against him. Now, if you know Steve Guerra, we can all agree that he's an ultimate politico, right? He always makes sure that that he's got a clean image, that there isn't nothing that you could pin him to, and rightfully so. Everybody should be like that. I think Steve's a little bit more, I wouldn't call it paranoid, but he's just more self-conscious, maybe because of his name. But many critics are starting to question and ask themselves, could Steve Guerra win a county race? Now, it got me thinking, because in this world, we always try to pick each other's brain. We always say, hey, what do you think about this race? What do you think about that race? What's your mind on this race? And one thing that multiple people said was, does Steve have support in Northern Cameron County? There's no question, and you have seen, if you haven't already, go to Steve's Facebook page. You will see the amount of support that he has received since his announcement on December the 8th, on the filing deadline. To me, there is no question that Steve Guerra is a campaigner. We have also seen through social media how he had a sold-out fundraiser for a golf tournament. Is Steve Guerra capable of spending $100,000 for this race? No doubt in my mind. The position itself, the salary, I think it's 6 figures for the county judge. When you talk about that, that's $400,000 that you are getting in one term. So the investment is there. The position is there. Now, is Steve Guerra going to spend $100,000 in these 3 months? I don't know. Possibly. And why do you say that, Frankie? Because again, the politicos, they're seeing these numbers and they're saying, is this enough to be competitive against someone such as Eddie Trevino? Now, every race is different, right? I don't want to make it seem as if Eddie Trevino got 13,000 votes, 11,000 votes. Now he's going to get the same amount. No, I'm not saying that. But we're just talking about numbers. Just thinking hypothetically. We're brainstorming. I'm here talking like it's just you and me. That's all we're doing, really. But this is the biggest criticism that people are having of Steve Guerra. They're questioning, not criticism, they're questioning. And many people close to him, if you ask him, can Steve Guerra win a county race? They said yes. Could Steve beat Eddie? Yes. Could Steve beat Eric? Yes. His circle is strong. They believe that it's going to be a runoff or he's going to win outright. But based on this data, it leads people to question, could someone such as Steve Guerra win a county race when he's only ran for the Port of Brownsville that has brought in 2,700 votes? Yes. Could we also talk about how the Congressman Vicente Gonzalez is also going to be in the Democratic primary? He is running against Etienne Rojas. Are they going to be actively working as a ticket? Are they going to encourage their friends and family to vote 1 and 1? Vote for us both? I'm sure of it. Congressman Vicente Gonzalez has made it known to Judge Eddie Trevino that he's not going to get involved. It was funny because I ran it by someone, a politico, and that politico said, man, Vicente Gonzalez only cares about himself, bro. You think he cares about friggin' Steve's race? I'm like, well, I would think so. Steve has actively been working for the congressman and getting him elected. Steve has been very vocal and supportive. We would hope that he would get the same attention. I don't know. We're just thinking out loud, right? That politico said, nah, bro. Congressman Gonzalez is gonna focus on Gonzalez. He's selfish, bro. And I said, I don't know. Again, what happens if Judge Eddie Trevino comes out without a runoff, comes out on top? What relationship would he have with the congressman moving forward? You think these people care? They got big egos. I don't know. Another interesting thing that many people are talking about is who was in this picture for Steve Guerra's announcement. On the far left with the black cap, that's Constable for Precinct 2, Abel Gomez. Abel Gomez has a feet in each in those circles that when we talk about Judge Eddie Trevino, Silvia Garza Perez, and Abel Gomez. When I close my eyes, that's the group that I see these people in. The same people that have worked to get Judge Eddie Trevino elected, that helped Silvia Garza Perez get elected, did the same thing with Abel Gomez. But as they say, all is fair in love, war, and Cameron County politics, it seems. Chapulines, hay pa aventar pa arriba. That's the way politics goes. One day you're my friend. The next day, I'm working against you. We're doing this thing of by the numbers. Eddie Garza has won impressively, has brought in the votes. He has won 3 county races. Judge Eddie Trevino has won 3 county races, 2016, 2018, 2022. Steve Guerra, with 2,700 votes, is he able to be competitive? Maybe with the congressman, maybe now with Abel Gomez on his side. Why? Because Abel Gomez brought in 5,000 votes. That's a lot. Now, we're not saying that all of those 5,000 votes are going to line behind Steve, but having someone such as Abel could help you in your corner, right? But the question remains, 2 out of the 3 candidates have shown that they have won district-wide, county-wide races. Eddie Garza has brought in thousands of votes. Eddie Trevino has brought in thousands of votes. Steve Guerra has brought in 3,000 votes. I'm not diminishing Steve Guerra. Everyone who knows Steve, he's strong. He's your ultimate politician. He makes you feel great. He makes you feel as if he's your best friend. That's the way he is. He's good at what he does. But critics are starting to ask and wonder, did Steve Guerra overplay his hand? Did he even know that someone such as Eddie Garza was running? Did Steve put Eddie Garza in with the idea that, hey, I'll help you? There was this idea that after Eddie Garza lost the judge race, that he was being considered for being the Port of Brownsville police chief. Now the chairman is Steve Guerra. Again, there are all these talks, there are all these hypotheticals, right? But the people want to know, what's going to happen in this primary? Is Steve Guerra going to spend $100,000 to get his name out there? Again, ladies and gentlemen, we are December 15. We have less than 60 days away. December, January, February. February 17th is the first day to cast your vote in the primaries. Does Steve Guerra, is he going to spend that money to get his name out there? I'm sure he's done his homework, and I'm sure he's reached out to different people throughout the county beforehand and letting them know, possibly gauging them and saying, hey, if I run, could I count on your support? I'm sure he did that. If not, he wouldn't have. As we all know, the city of Brownsville is the crown jewel, right? If you win Brownsville, you have a higher probability of winning the county. But you want to be strong throughout. You want to be competitive throughout the county. Just as you are hitting it hard or known in Brownsville, you want to be known in Santa Rosa, Santa Maria, La Feria, Harlingen. You want to, you need to. Is Steve Guerra banking on the congressman? Is he banking on Abel Gomez? Because, again, Eddie Trevino and Eddie Garza has shown you that they've won 3 races themselves, the county-wide race. What about Steve Guerra? Cameron County judge by the numbers. In Cameron County, the Cameron County judge is the county's chief executive officer and presides over the commissioner's court. Despite the title, the role is primary, administrative, and executive, not a full-time judicial job or judge like the higher courts. While these 3 men are going to battle it out in the Thrilla in Manila, it's going to be a heavyweight clash. People are left wondering and asking themselves, could Steve Guerra win a county race? And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Franco Levo TV. Best believe Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., sometimes a little bit after, religiously. So make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. I hope you have a great start to your week. See you here at 9 a.m., maybe a little bit after. Hope you have a great day. Peace. My name is Franco Levo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville.